Okay, we're doing picture number 34, which is a step-by-step tutorial of how to draw the architectural drawing. You got your board, you got your T-square, so what you're going to do is you always want to lock your T-square in right on the side like this. It will never be going vertically, only horizontal. So this is just going to slide up and down throughout the process. The next step is to put your piece of paper on the page. What you want to do is just gently slide your paper horizontally so it's touching the T-square, and make sure your T-square is locked in on the side. So this will ensure that your paper is perfectly even and at a 90-degree angle as well. Take your Scotch tape, rip off really small pieces and just pinch them onto the corners. This will make sure that your paper stays in place throughout the whole process. Just gently put it down. You can slide your T-square away and also put the tape on the bottom as well. And there we are. The next step will be drawing your border. Your border will be 1 inch from the bottom and 1/2 inch from the top and the other sides. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to draw a little dot about 1 inch. You can see I'm at the 1 inch. I'm just going to put a little dot right there. It won't even show up on the screen. You can't see it. But then I'm going to line my T-square up with that little dot. And I'm going to draw it, drag my pencil straight across, pretty lightly. And you can see a line going across. I'm going to do the same thing on the sides, but the sides are going to be a 1/2 inch. I'm just going to draw a little dot at a 1/2 inch. Over here, this will be the only time that I move my T-square this way throughout the whole thing. Otherwise, you're going to be using your orange bunny hill. And I'm going to draw this line a 1/2 inch. I'm going to draw it all the way from the top to the bottom. I'm going to make sure my T-square is locked in at the bottom. And so right now I have a vertical line, a horizontal line. I'm going to do the same thing on the other sides. It's going to be a 1/2 inch from the top. I'm just going to draw a little dot at a 1/2 inch. And over here I'm going to draw a little dot at a 1/2 inch as well. And then I'm just going to fill out the rest of my border. Take my T-square, I'm going to make sure it's locked in on the side. I'm going to drag my pencil across it. And I have a line at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure my T-square is locked in. And right now I have a paper that has 4 lines. And with that extra part that intersects, I'm going to erase that so you have a perfect rectangle. And at the bottom I will write my name and what number I'm doing. So for this I will write Mr. Templar. And right now I'm going to be drawing problem number 34. And you can see it right there. I'm going to also just turn off the fan so that you can hear me a little bit better. Now when I'm drawing, and now remember I want my T-square going horizontal, up and down. When I'm drawing this image, number 34, I'm going to start with the long side, the side that says 6 inches. That's the first line I'm going to be doing. You can see from the bottom it goes up at an angle. So I'm going to take my bunny hill and I'm going to put my T-square almost at the bottom, just above that border line. Bunny hill always stays with the side that says Alvin. Should be on the bottom left, and it goes horizontal. At no point should you turn your bunny hill this way or this way. Your bunny hill should always stay with Alvin at the bottom. It will be the bottom right or the bottom left, depending on how the angle goes. In this case, you can see this line starts at the bottom and goes up at an angle. So I'm going to put my bunny hill like this, and it's going to go up at an angle. I'm going to draw a little dot where I want to start it, and I'm going to start it probably near the bottom, a little bit more to the right side so I have some room. And remember, this line needs to be 6 inches. So I'm going to put my ruler, I'm going to line it up with that dot. I'm going to put that 6-inch line right at that dot, make sure my T-square is locked in. And I'm going to line my ruler up with my bunny hill to give me a 6-inch line. I'm going to put another dot at 6 inches, and then I'll just connect the dots. Alternatively, you could just draw a really long line and then measure the 6 inches and erase. Right now on here you can see that I have a 6-inch line. What I did was that bottom part right there, I drew 6 inches. Now you can see the next line goes straight up 2 inches. There's no angle, it just goes straight up. So from that end of that 6-inch line, and remember I'm not going to flip my bunny hill to make it go up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it over so that now I have the straight side touching the edge, and it's going to go up an additional 2 inches. So I'm going to start my ruler right at that intersection point, and from there I'm going to draw another dot at 2 inches and go straight down. Oops. You can see mine moved a little bit when I was doing it. So I'm going to redraw that line, and it's 2 inches. Just double check that. Yeah, that's 2 inches. For my next line, you can see it goes, now it's not straight, it's at an angle, going up at an angle 2 inches. So from this point that I have right here, I'm going to run into a problem because this isn't going up. So I'm going to need to flip this over so that Alvin is on the bottom right side now. And I'm going to take it up 2 inches. So I'm going to put my ruler back on here. And line it up. Make sure my T-square stays locked in at all times. I'm going to line my ruler up with my bunny hill. Put a dot at 2 inches. And now I'm going to connect the lines. So what I have here now is my first 3 lines. The 6-inch line, up 2 inches and out 2 inches. What you're doing now, it's pretty simple. You're just going down 3 inches. So this is the line I'm going to draw right now from this top part. So I'm going to have to flip my bunny hill back over so that Alvin is on the bottom left side, and I'm going to go down 3 inches. Draw a little dot at the 3-inch spot, drag it up, connect it. You got yourself a 3-inch line. After that, in the picture, it doesn't say the measurement of this side, except I know it's 2 inches high, and this is 1 inch high. So this little line right here must be 1 inch. So I'm going to draw straight down for 1 inch, and remember, I'm not going to turn my bunny hill the other way. I'm just going to use the flat side of it, and I'm going to find out 1 inch. Make sure your T-square is locked in at the side and not moving. And let's put your ruler here. Alternatively, remember, you could draw a straight line down and then just measure it 1 inch and erase the rest. So I'll draw a line at like about 1 inch here. And I'm just going to double check that with the ruler, that is in fact 1 inch, and it is. Then you see a line that goes straight down. It doesn't, you can assume this is going to be a 3-inch line right here. Although even if you drew it down and extended it really far, you would realize that it's going to intersect, it's going to go 2 inches here and up. So you could wind up erasing and figure that stuff out even without measuring it exactly. But I am going to measure it for this, and I'm going to go at a slant downward 3 inches, as the picture showed. So let me just take this, put a little dot at 3 inches, and then just connect the lines. you can see this is going to be the frame coming in here. From there, the picture shows me that I go down 1 inch. So I'm going to make sure my T-square is locked in. And then remember, I'm not going to flip my Alvin over. I'm just going to put it down 1 inch. Remember, make sure your T-square is locked in. You always need to double check for that, or your lines aren't going to be straight. So here's the inch. I'm going to just put a dot and just draw it straight up. And there we go. This last line over here, I don't even need to measure this because I know according to the picture, these will connect. And I should use my bunny hill to connect them. So I'm just right here and these lines will connect. So, and it's going to be a downward angle. And you can't really see it in the video, but you can see if your bunny hill matches up perfectly, you know you've done a perfect job so far. These lines, the ends of each should just connect. And they do. And if you get to here, you can see it doesn't quite look like the picture yet, but it will. You've pretty much done all the hard work. Now it's just filling in the inside. You've done the outer shell. You can see from the bottom right corner, there's just a line up, and then it connects to that other little side forming a rectangle. So there's going to be a line straight up, and then it's going to connect. Now, you don't even need to measure that. I suppose you could. It's going to be 1 inch. The reason I say you don't need to measure that, and it's going to be the same length as the other side, it's going to be 1 inch. The reason I say you don't is if you just lightly take your pencil and just draw that line straight up from the corner, you can use what you know, and you know that this side is then going to intersect with the line. So you can assume, you can figure out how high it's supposed to be because this line at a downward angle is going to meet with the other line. Now let me show you what I mean. You can see in my drawing, this line, I drew it all the way up here. But when I drew this line down, I saw they intersected at this point. So I'm just going to erase that extra that I drew. And you can darken in that line if you'd like to. And what happens now is you have a line going down here, and we're just going to fill in the rest of the shell. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm just going to decide not to measure it because I know everything's going to work out. I'm going to take my Alvin, so it's on the left side, and from the corner that I just drew, I'm going, and make sure you're looking at the picture too to see what I'm doing, I'm going to extend it straight up. And let me explain why I did that. This bottom side right here is going to intersect with that line. So these are going to match. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to erase the extra that I have. Put the Alvin down on the right. And there we go. And you can see how I filled that in now. And you can see how far up my line goes. I'm just going to erase that. I'm not even going to measure it because I knew the line went from here and it intersected. There would be a vertex essentially right here. What happens next is from that little point, I'm right here now, it goes straight up and then it will meet on this side right here. So once again, I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to, if you're nervous and want to be very precise, you can measure it, although it's not necessary. Like I said, I'm just going to draw, make sure my T-square is locked in, draw a line straight up. Once again, I drew it longer than I know it's going to be. I'm just going to erase the extra. I'm going to flip my T-square over because I know there's going to be a line going down from the next corner. And you can see I got this little pocket here now. You could also see that I drew it a little bit longer than it needs to be, so I'm going to erase that extra. because the picture shows me, now that I've got this part, I just connect to the upper corner. So this is going to connect right into here. And ba-boom. You got yourself this picture. Of course, if you want, you could do a little bit of shading, but not necessary even. And that is the end of this tutorial.